Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katrina and I'm a mother to 4 little ones. Today I'm going to share with you what it's been like to have a newborn for the past 2 weeks and some things that I've been doing for myself and things that I've been using for our newest little baby. So first of all, coffee has been my partner in crime. The funny thing is that I've actually been drinking decaf, which is surprising even for myself because I am a huge coffee lover. I love coffee through and through. I usually drink it dedicated every day. But when I got pregnant with my son Lincoln, I just got so turned off of coffee. It was like, it just repulsed me. The idea of it, the smell of it, everything. And it's so strange when you love something so much and then you get pregnant and hormonally you just change. It just, everything goes out of whack. And so coffee was one of those things that I just could not even fathom drinking. And so I gave it up for my whole pregnancy. But towards the end, in about I would say the 3rd trimester, maybe a little bit in the 2nd trimester, I started drinking decaf. And eventually that just became part of my everyday routine. And so far I've sort of stuck with decaf coffee only because I just don't think there's a point in really getting back into coffee right now because my sleep is just all over the place. As most of you know that have had newborns, you're barely sleeping through the night. And so for me, drinking coffee during the day doesn't really help how I feel. I would rather just sort of roll with it. That's how much I love coffee. I will even drink decaf just for the taste of it. The first week home with a newborn is not an easy one, and I know that some people might present it that way with really cute pictures online and through social media, but behind the scenes there's a lot to sort of get used to and get acquainted with, and especially if you're a first-time mom, there are so many things that are coming at you in terms of caring for a newborn while trying to care for yourself. This is my 4th baby. A lot of things came back to me quite quickly and easily, but it doesn't mean that it was easy for me in the beginning. When it comes to nursing, I definitely experienced cracked nipples after I came home from the hospital, and that truly was disappointing because I've nursed all my kids and I just stopped breastfeeding the last one about a month ago, and I go back to nurse my newborn and I'm having problems. So don't feel bad if nursing doesn't come naturally for you, whether it's your first time or it's your 4th time like me. I definitely went through the motions of trying to figure out how to get a proper latch, how to create sort of a healthy nursing habits between my baby and I. And yeah, it wasn't easy. It probably took me a good 4 or 5 days before we just had a better rhythm, and Lincoln's latch was not great. In the hospital, I noticed it right away. It was like I had to do a lot of work to sort of get him back on and properly latch. He was really just into sort of soothing, and it made me question all kinds of things. I kept thinking, does he have lip or tongue tie? Am I doing this right? Do I remember how to latch a baby? And so you go through so many emotions trying to figure these things out, and it does take time. It takes practice, it takes dedication, and I know that a lot of new moms will feel like they want to give up and that they're just failing at breastfeeding, and I just want to encourage you that you're not. It's something that is a learned process, and if you look at being pregnant and that journey as being sort of a challenge, something that you have to learn to endure physically, emotionally, all those things that you have to take on with pregnancy, then you have to look at postpartum the same way. I remember thinking that I was going to pick up breastfeeding like no problem, and instead it was a lot of work for me. And now, even this 4th time around, it was still work for me. I still had to figure out a proper latch. I still had to figure out how to get my newborn into a better rhythm with me. And it doesn't change whether it's your first or your last. Breastfeeding is hard, it's hard work, and it's something that you have to practice and work on and learn together. And eventually you'll figure out what works for both of you, and that's always the goal, right? You just want to be able to feed your baby, and that's it. Keep them happy, keep them fed, keep them happy, right? Speaking of breastfeeding, one thing that I purchased was a nursing pillow, and I've showed this on one of my other videos, but I bought the Snuggle Me Organic brand nursing pillow. It looks like a moon, which I think is kind of cool. The reason why I locked in on this one is because this is my last baby, and so I debated actually buying a nursing pillow, But I thought, you know, in the beginning stages, they're so little and kind of newborns are so awkward to hold sometimes that it's nice to have them propped up on a pillow. And so I got this one. And so far it's been really good. I'm happy with it. I must say it's really convenient. It's easy to sort of strap on. I find that if you're going to nurse with just your baby in the front across the pillow, latched on, it's a pretty easy position. I haven't really tried any other positions with it. The only thing that I do find is that with the thin edges, sometimes if you're nursing and you kind of have your baby and you're leaning back, the baby sometimes, like I find Lincoln sort of slopes downwards. So I'm needing to put like a swaddle blanket or something underneath just the ends. And that just depends on where you're sitting or what you're doing. But it's been a good pillow so far. I don't use it all the time because sometimes I find that when I'm nursing, I'm either walking around carrying Lincoln or that I need to nurse him in a position that's more upright. Because he's approaching 3 weeks, I'm finding that his habits are changing and his stomach sensitivity is also changing. And so I'm constantly sort of switching positions and trying new things and trying to keep him more upright just to prevent, you know, spit up or, you know, upset stomach or things like that. So I kind of switch back and forth between the nursing pillow and just sort of holding him on my chest. And, you know, everybody's different, but I do recommend that pillow. I think it's been great and it's something that I will continue to use. And I hope that after I'm done with it, because it kind of looks like a moon, it's something kind of cute that maybe I can just use as like a throw pillow in our playroom or something like that. Another item that I purchased shortly after I got home was I realized that I didn't buy any sort of nursing bras that are good for sleeping in. Now, I just figured that my milk wouldn't be too intense when it came in, but it really was, and I just felt like really uncomfortable, especially walking around like braless. It just felt like the girls were too heavy. So I needed something supportive that I could wear at night. And of course, that spills over into wearing into the daytime. And so I got these bras. It was like they came in a 3-pack on Amazon. This is a size large, even though it doesn't look large, they stretch. So I think for girls that are larger size, like I'm size 36D, maybe even larger right now, but around that size. And I found that the large is okay. Probably could even gone up to an extra large. So just be aware because a lot of the sizing is Chinese sizing. And so you want to make sure that you always size up generally. Or I just read the reviews on Amazon and they basically have honest women that go on there and say, hey, size up or stay on your regular size or whatever. So for myself, I've been using this oil called So Oil. Let's see if we can get that in the shot. It's also a Canadian company and it's really nice, gentle products for your skin. I've just been really enjoying using this and rubbing it on my tummy now because I find that it's just, this smells great and it's really moisturizing. I used this all through my pregnancy and especially my 3rd trimester. I was really religious about this. That's why it's practically half gone. And, you know, did it prevent stretch marks? No, I think that's something that you can't necessarily prevent with an oil or a lotion, but it certainly did help with the itchiness of my stomach and just sort of that stretching and pulling that I was feeling. And so postpartum, I've been using it as well, hoping that maybe it will help my stretch marks and the healing process of them. I don't know if they'll disappear. They may just fade over time, which I think is what happened with my last pregnancy. And, you know, I'm still pretty new to the stretch mark game because this last pregnancy is the first one where I really got a lot of stretch marks. So we'll see what happens, but I definitely think that moisturizing your skin is not a bad thing. And so I've been using this on myself. So on Lincoln, I've been using this oil. It's called Jai Baby, and it's by the company Living Libations, and it's also another Canadian company. I've been using their products for years. I use the skin oil cleansing method on my face, so I have a different sort of skin oil that I use, but they also make products for babies, and so I've been using this on Lincoln because his skin, once he came home from the hospital, it got really peely and started cracking, and I think it's just because we live in a really dry climate here, and just coming from the womb and being in fluid and then coming out into the world into this really dry environment really messed with his skin. Every time I go and change him, I just sort of oil him up with this, and I think it's been making a difference. I definitely noticed that his skin is not peeling as much anymore and it's looking a little bit more conditioned. So I just make it a habit. Every time I change him, I rub him down with a little bit of body oil, and he tends to really like it. And so it's been sort of a nice little routine that we've been doing together. One thing I've learned the last 2 weeks is to make sure that you have enough little sleepers for your newborn. I was trying to be conservative because I don't really believe in buying too many newborn clothes since they grow so quickly. But I noticed that between my 4 or 5 little suits, it almost wasn't enough for my little guy because he has a lot of spit up sessions, and there was quite a few times where he peed, and he would pee on me or on his suit as I'm changing him. And so maybe it's a boy thing that I'm getting used to, but that's been sort of a learning curve for me, that I need to make sure that every time I change him, I have a little like washcloth that I lay down on top of his private area and that kind of prevents any sort of accidents, because man, I have been hit hard with getting peed on. And what I found was that I was just going through sleepers too fast, and I really don't want to be doing laundry every second day. And so I made my husband go out and buy a few more newborn sleepers just so I had a few on hand. So now I've probably got about 7 maybe in rotation, which I think is more than enough. If you're wondering how many sleepers to have, that's probably a number of outfits that you need for a newborn. If you guys knew how many times I have to stop and cut just because the interruptions of my family. And I also thought that Lincoln would make a cameo in this video, but apparently he's not going to. He's just having an epic nap right now. So here's hoping that, you know, he will sleep like that tonight. The hard thing with a newborn is that they're on their own little schedule. And so sometimes he will have great stretches at night and he'll sleep a couple hours. And then just the other night, he was awake from like 2:30 till like 5 o'clock, like just on and off, where he would have like an alert time and he was wide awake, and then he would sleep in my arms, and then as soon as I transferred him to his bassinet, he would wake up. So we've had a couple of sleepless nights that have compounded, so I'm hoping that we can replicate this sort of wonderful afternoon nap at nighttime. Wish me luck, guys. So that's going to be it, you guys. I really appreciate you coming back and checking in on me and seeing how our family's growing in new and exciting ways. Stay tuned for more videos on motherhood, and I just really appreciate your love and support. See you in the next one. Bye!